Welcome back to this already, the final segment of The Price of Business. It's been a busy show talking about all kinds of things. I love it when we cover so many different issues. It's been a broad spectrum of infotainment today. We got Scottie Nell Hughes on the program. Scottie, I think you've been on the program before, haven't you?
I have. I'm honored to be asked back. I guess I didn't screw up the first one too bad.
No, not at all. You did great. In fact, I've been wanting to get you back on, and I'm amazed that you remember being on because I know you do a lot of national shows as well, including Pierce Morgan tonight on CNN. That must have been fun.
Well, you know, it's called my mission work. Other people have to go to the deep fields and the deep jungles of Africa or South America. I just have to go on the liberal mainstream media. That's my mission field.
There you go. There you go. We'll keep it up. Now, tell us real quickly, first of all, you are with the Tea Party News Network. What is the website for that, by the way?
Oh, please, go visit us at tpnn.com, or you can also check out my latest column there on townhall.com or Christian Post.
Okay, tppn.com?
TPNN.
TPNN.com. Yes. And I want to encourage people to check that out. And, of course, you also have content, as you pointed out, at Town Hall. Great sites indeed and great information. So a lot of stuff going on out there.
Oh, definitely. It's been a very, very busy day and a very busy week. You know, this past week, obviously, the scandal with the IRS continues to unfold. And more, the layers are being peeled back to reveal that this just wasn't a bunch of guys sitting around an office in Cincinnati saying, who should we target? So more and more it's starting to show that this actually goes up to the White House. Will we ever know if this actually went to the Oval Office? I don't know, but it's getting closer and closer. So we'll see as the weeks go if we actually get to unpeel the onion completely.
Yeah, no question about it. It's getting uglier all the time. It's obviously the most scandalous administration in modern history. The Nixon administration pales. Those guys were minor leaguers compared to these guys.
Oh, completely. But let me just point this out. When you're talking, you know, I had this debate last week, in fact, with a very liberal gentleman on Your World with Neil Cavuto. Scandals are Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. I consider that a scandal. I'll even give Watergate to be a scandal. But when people's lives have been lost, like we saw in Benghazi and Fast and Furious, when we see people actually, their rights being infringed, like we're seeing here with the IRS targeting, I don't consider this scandals anymore. The scandals remind me of the soap opera. I consider this to be more of like injustice, tyranny, impeachment. So I think I think Americans are going to have to start realizing, differentiating when people's lives are at stake and amendments have been, rights have been infringed. The word scandal just seems a little bit too nice.
Yeah, a little mild in comparison. Of course, scandal was enough to bring down the Nixon administration. I think a lot of it had to do with the demographics of both houses of Congress. If there had been a Republican majority in either one of the houses, it would have never led to what it eventually led to. And I don't think people understand that political context as well. But this stuff that's happened in this administration should bring him down, regardless of what the makeup of party affiliation in both houses.
No, I agree completely. And here's the other issue that we got to look at. You know, you sit there and you look at President Nixon, and while yes, he was under conflict, and some might even say he was a bit of a narcissist. In the end, he was a classy man. He knew that after everything that the United States had gone through, just with Vietnam and with everything with Cuba, with all the issues that the country had gone through, the last thing that the people needed to go through was an impeachment trial, the embarrassment of an impeachment trial. So he's the one who resigned from that. That's unfortunately something that we didn't see with Clinton, with all of his scandals, and I really unfortunately don't see necessarily with President Barack Obama. I do not see him actually resigning in order to save face and to save the whole pride and the American people from going through a torturous thing as like a national impeachment would be.
Well, and I go back to what I said earlier, and it sounds cynical, but it's true. The math was against Richard Nixon. The math wasn't against Clinton. The math is certainly not against Barack Obama, where the actual impeachment has to take place in the Senate, unless there's a major change that happens in 2014. You know, the Senate, the Democrats are more vulnerable in the Senate. They've got roughly 50% more seats up for grabs in the U.S. Senate. I think in light of the scandals that have unfolded over the last several weeks, in spite of the fact the American people seem to have the attention span of a gnat, that the House is going to stay in GOP hands, there is a chance that there could be, two branches of government that could support impeachment.
Well, no, and that's it completely.
I'm sorry, two houses of Congress, rather. I don't want to sound like I don't know my basic civics. Two houses of Congress that could stand for impeachment. Go ahead.
Well, and that's the thing that we're sitting and we're looking at 2014. The momentum is building for us to actually have a major changeover and a major time going over. And that's a good thing for us to think about. The other side of it that I really want to look at it on this one is right now you've got this past week, obviously we had the passing of the senator in New Jersey. And that actually has a huge effect, which I'm sure you've talked about, considering Obamacare and obviously this immigration bill. Whoever Chris Christie puts in, Governor Christie appoints, will have that vote on immigration and could possibly either lead or crush the chances of a filibuster when it comes to this immigration policy. So that might be the first step to see how much attention that we're actually getting and how much momentum we're actually going to have going into 2014. I do find it a coincidence, though, that yesterday all the stories broke that magically a lot of liberals, George Soros included, have donated to Chris Christie's reelection fund, oddly in the same day that he's going to have to start choosing a senator to replace.
Yeah, I think he chooses a moderate Republican. He can't afford to choose a Democrat. He can't, either that or he needs to just go ahead and change parties. But I don't see him choosing anyone that's going to be particularly helpful to our side. Well,
but you know what, we can hold it. You know, any hope that Chris Christie would have for future conservative policy, for future stakes out of New Jersey, this would be a good show if he came out and did somebody that was very, very pro securing the border, anti Chuck Schumer's little Gang of Eight bill. This could be a really good step for him. This could be a good way in changing his image. Same thing right now. If Barack Obama really did want to kind of move the tidal wave that's kind of started to go against his public opinion, maybe he would think about putting Congressman Michelle Bachmann in charge of the IRS. Yeah.
I like that idea. That would be fun.
Why not?
Yeah, if I think those kind of things when I go to sleep, I never go to sleep. I'd be too excited over that, but that would be nice. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm expecting a really safe choice. Christie has proven that he has no problem being warm and fuzzy with Democrats. If anything, his actions in the last weeks of the campaign did nothing to help the Republicans' chances. That's for sure. His warm and fuzzy photo moments with President Obama and talking about how great Obama came to the rescue, and the Hurricane Sandy situation just really, I don't think he has any conservative aspirations. I think he's an establishment guy, and he likes being the establishment. He likes being the grumpy establishment guy rather than the warm or the jovial, clean-cut professional establishment guy that we typically see. That's really the only difference. In fact, I said during the campaign that he was basically like Mitt Romney, just a frumpier, grumpier, lumpier version of it.
But right now, the establishment does not have the power that it had back going into November of 2012. Right now, the establishment has been demonized. I mean, we can kind of look at it, and that's the lemonade of this whole IRS situation, of this whole Benghazi inquiries. But the American people are starting to wake up. Those that just went in on November and paid attention to who was running for office that morning while they were drinking their coffee before they went to the voter box, they're realizing that it's not just these people up in Washington, D.C. that the politics are affecting, that these are actually affecting their neighbors, and it is taking a crunch on their pocketbook. So therefore, they're waking up to it. So which is the worst nightmare that the Democrats want, and even the worst nightmare that the establishment wants. So, people say, well, don't you fault Chris Christie for the Sandy bill? You know what? He did what he did for his state. I agree. What really would have been good for him is if he would have said, you know what, thank you so much, President, for the Sandy relief bill. However, we'll take it, but you need to take all the pork out of it. And I guarantee if he would have done that publicly and the government tried to take away a penny out of that bill to New Jersey, there would have been so much cane raised in this country. He thought that he had to take that bill 100%. And instead, he could have used it as a great moment to stand up and for the first time as a politician, eliminate the pork.
Got to wrap it up. I do want to put you on hold for a minute. I want to get some information from you. Scottie Nell Hughes, she is with the Tea Party News Network. Give that website one more time before I let you go.
Not a problem. TPNN.com.
Check it out. Also check her out at Town Hall Finance and townhall.com. Thanks so much for being with us, Scottie.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right. I hope everyone out there has a great rest of their day. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. Like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter, but make sure you stay here the rest of this broadcast day.